Good morning and welcome back. My name is Susan Harker and I am the moderator for this session. Note to everybody before we start, you can use the closed caption feature in the bottom of the screen to just click on the CC box for closed captioning. We have 3 terrific community capital companies to pitch to a panel of investors. They are WACA, Monterey Bay Renewable Fuels, and Career Girls. Each one of these companies will have 10 minutes and only 10 minutes to pitch to the investor panel. And then following their pitch, there'll be 5 minutes where the investor panel can ask questions to the company. If we run out of time, we will share the questions from the investors with the companies. Please note that due to the short time period, only the investors will be asking questions, but you can participate in the session. You can encourage the company presenting through the emojis on the bottom of your screen, and you can also send a general comment that everyone can see about the presentation to the chat session. So we have a great group of investors with us today as well. We have Charlie Franklin, Hillary Talbot of Sale Community Capital, and Tina Williams of QT Business Solutions. Thanks for being here with us today. You can find out more about all the great work that these folks do on our website. So we'll call the investors up to the stage after the company pitches, and right now we're going to start with WACA. So we'll call WACA to the stage, please. WACA is a platform to connect visitors with Indigenous hosts. Alexis, we're ready for you to share your screen with your opening slide. Do you have slides?
I do. I just haven't used this platform before.
Not a problem. We understand it's new to us too. It's a good one, but we're all learning. All right, there you go. We see it.
Let me just take it to full screen.
See part of it. There we go.
There we go.
All right, Alexis, you are off. You have 10 minutes to pitch.
All right, I got my timer.
Great.
Good morning. So one thing you might be wondering is how to pronounce this word. It's pronounced WACA, which means hello and welcome in Yupik Eskimo, which is my ancestral language. And I've been working in the Indigenous tourism-owned and operated tourism industry for over 2 decades. I founded WACA to address the biggest problem this industry faces, which is connecting visitors with Indigenous hosts. So what sets Indigenous tourism apart? Let's put the question in another way. Would you rather go on safari with Indigenous hunters who know all the signs to track animals, or would you rather be hosted and guided by a seasonal worker from somewhere else? These opportunities exist, but they're shockingly hard to find. So case in point, when I was consulting for San tourism operations in Botswana, I wanted to take a safari. I Googled and Googled looking for an Indigenous owned and operated safari or even an Indigenous guide, and I just couldn't find it. But I'm tenacious, and I happen to have a friend who is running an NGO in the area. So I called her up, and she told me that yes, there was one out of dozens of safari operators in the Okavango Delta that was actually owned and guided by Indigenous peoples. So as a result, I'm the only person I know who has seen multiple leopards up close in the Maremi Game Reserve because they hide so well from guides who haven't lived and grown up with traditional tracking knowledge. So this is a two-sided problem. Travelers want to experience Indigenous cultures, but they don't know how to find them. And Indigenous hosts want to host visitors, but they don't know how to market and price. What Indigenous hosts are good at doing is hosting and knowing their traditional knowledge, but not marketing and pricing. The solution to this is an intuitive, mobile-ready platform and app. So WACA offers a one-stop platform where visitors can find unique experiences all around the world, interact directly with hosts, and feel good knowing that their spending stays local and supports Indigenous communities. On the host side, WACA brings the global market directly to the host by packaging and marketing their offerings. It has an integrated payment system that cuts out the usual middlemen who disrupt traditional lifestyles. So instead of being told when they have to give tours, hosts control their own services. This is really important for this socially responsible company because I can't tell you how many times I've seen Indigenous hosts worry that they might go hungry in the off season because they have to give a tour instead of go hunting when the game decides to show up, or how many times I've seen Indigenous hosts miss really important ceremonies and even funerals because they're told by those middlemen that they have to give tours. There's a very untapped market for Indigenous tourism. According to UNESCO, cultural and heritage is one of the fastest growing sectors of the tourism industry. Indigenous tourism is a $1.9 billion a year industry, and it's growing at 20% per year. So in terms of market validation, there are some organizations that tap into part of the market or part of the business plan WCA has, but none of them have all of it. So the nonprofit Pachamama Alliance offers tours to visit the Ashwar people in Ecuador. Their market is baby boomer ex-hippies who like to take ayahuasca, and their annual revenue is $600,000 a year from this. And if you think about it, this is a very niche market, but it's doing pretty well considering. World Packers offers voluntourism through a platform that takes subscription. Their market is 18 to 24-year-olds, and they make about $1 million per year. It's important to note that World Packers has many, many competitors out there. I won't name them all, but there's many, and yet it's still doing well. And People to People is a huge organization based in cultural exchange, mostly with high school students, some college, and their annual revenue is $27 million a year. So let's talk about the competition. WCA does not have any direct competitors. It will offer a mobile app with direct payment options. We have hundreds of contacts in the sector, over 20 years experience, and it's Native owned. And our team is Native majority. There's another organization called Nomadic Tribe that offers a mobile app and has direct payments, but they only offer 78 tours that people can purchase. It's very labor heavy, not scalable. They don't have 20 years experience, and it's not Native owned. So how would they know how to work with these communities if they haven't grown up being Indigenous? IANTA is the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association. It doesn't have a mobile app or direct payment. It does, however, have hundreds of contacts, over 20 years experience. One of my former bosses who taught me the ropes in the industry was actually their executive director for years, and I went to their inaugural conference in 1999. But it's not Native owned. It's a government sponsored organization. It's part of the government, and it's meant to market American Indian Alaska Native tours in the U.S. And guess what? You've never heard of it because it's a government thing. And then finally we have Airbnb, which I love. They have an amazing user-friendly app and direct payment options, but they're not really in the Indigenous tourism sector, and neither can they be because it takes a lot of years' experience to begin to be able to penetrate this market. So our business model is that we will launch in 2022 with tours, consulting services, and a subscription, moving towards an aggregator that takes transaction fees from hosts and guests. So as an aggregator, WCA will take an average $10 booking fee from visitors and 25% commissions from the hosts. And we're looking at that aggregator being 95% of revenue by 2025, with a tipping point in 2024. Our goal is really to become the Airbnb for the Indigenous tourism market. So let me show you what that looks like in a graphic form with that ski slope up to the right that we love to see. As you can see, the growth matches each year's strategic priorities. So in 2022, our focus will be on creating the platform, marketing, and taking subscriptions. In 2023, our focus will be on expanding the platform, users on both ends, and marketing. And in 2024, WCA will be mature enough to earn the majority of revenues through direct transactions. And even with a very modest 30,000 transactions that I calculated, which is hardly a drop in the bucket of even the cultural and heritage tourism market, we predict at least 7.5 million in sales by 2025. So our go-to-market strategy for 2022 is to launch 2 pre-packaged tours. Our summer excursion will be to Botswana, so other people can get to go see the leopards too, and as well as a ceremonial dance festival and much, much more. And our winter trip will be to visit the Sami in Scandinavia to experience reindeer herding, the northern lights, and it's just so fun to be in the north in the winter. We'll launch Waka with a subscription model first. We'll establish our initial offerings based on my deep networks, develop the website and app, alpha test, and further refine the platform, lead those 2 tours, and seek Series A funding. And because tourism is seasonal, we predict a break even in August of 2023, but we're asking for $500K to maintain cash flow until this time with profit by the end of 2023. And I have an absolutely outstanding team. Steve DeRoy is my chief strategist. He is CEO and founder of the Firelight Group, which offers tech solutions and mapping. He has 60 employees, and he and I actually hacked out Waka at Google HQ in 2019 before the pandemic. And I also want to point out Victor Temprano, who's the founder and CEO of Mapster and developer of Nativeland Ca. Victor is my technical co-founder, and he absolutely believes in Waka's succeeding. Nativeland Ca is a site that shows people whose indigenous territories they're on. And now I know that might seem very niche, but it actually gets about 10,000 to 40,000 unique visitors per day. It has had over 10 million page views in the past year, and it has 4 million active users. And on busy days, like Columbus Day coming up here, it receives over 1.5 million user hits. So if indigeneity sounds new to you, it is absolutely where it's at right now. You can reach me here, and since it looks like I have a minute left, I thought I would tell you why you should invest in Waka and invest in me. And that is because I was raised, if I need to cut and smoke 200 fish in 1 hour, I will damn well do it. I'm the only kid out of 5 siblings that went to college. I went to Dartmouth, which I chose over other Ivy Leagues because it supports Native students, which is so important. I went back and worked in the tourism industry in Alaska, and then I wanted to really make changes in policy that affects our economics in our Native communities, in the tourism industry and cultural heritage. So I got a PhD in anthropology and a postdoc at Berkeley so people would listen to me, and they are consistently the top 5. I broke out doing consulting. I thought it would be cool to work for a think tank for a while, so I did. And our think tank actually won a Macarthur Foundation Genius Award. Time's up.
Well, that's a fabulous way to end with the Macarthur Genius Award. Thank you for putting your contact information back there. That's wonderful. Alexis, I myself am writing that down, and I want to be on your 22 trip to Botswana.
Oh my gosh, I have a lineup of people.
Well, let's bring on the investors. We've got a 5-minute Q&A, and I think they have a lot of questions for Alexis.
Hi, Alexis. I had a question. What is the average tour cost, the price of each tour that is given?
So that's a great question. They're going to be kind of expensive, probably about, not too expensive actually, probably about $5,000. The market of people I have for it will probably pay a lot more, but I really want the tours to be very small and bespoke, like just for family groups, things like that. And really what I'm using them for is R&D, to check in with vendors in a region. So I'll do a tour just for fun to make sure that the vendor is still working well with people, and I get to be a little bit hands-on with that. But really I'll be using the extra time to take other trips around to identify new vendors, even though I know hundreds, because I wrote these books about indigenous tourism all around the world. I've been doing it for years.
Okay, so your average revenue, I'm sorry, just a follow-up on that. Average revenue is going to be $10 per booking, plus about another $12.50 per tour.
The tours are far less than 5% of the business model. It's really going to move towards a subscription and the aggregator model. The tours are really for R&D and just to check in with folks. But I love leading tours, so I want to do 2 a year. I've been doing it for years.
Hillary, you had a question?
Yeah, so my question is around strategic partnerships that as of recent, I've been looking into my next bucket list trip and figuring out where I'm going in the world. And there's many platforms out there, and I'm wondering about, instead of going off on your own, does it make more sense to partner with strategic partners? For example, I think Airbnb is starting to do tours in some areas. Would that be better to help to work with the host to link them with the various platforms they could be on and manage when they're available for them versus and take a percentage out of that versus starting your own platform?
If I'm able to share my deck again, I will, but I have a slide in the appendix that's all about partnerships. And I've been working to develop relationships with all kinds of organizations that people who are interested in indigeneity and learning about indigenous peoples are very interested in. And I'm definitely going to turn to partnerships as a major part of the marketing plan. And when you get a hold of my slides, you can see it's organizations. There's like a festival called Tribal Gathering where hundreds of people from all over Europe come and they want to meet indigenous peoples all in one place. I've been there. I've worked with them. Other partnerships like with iiED, that organization I told you that's terrible at marketing, but they have great contacts. Indian Collective, Pioneers, where I do my nonprofit work when I'm not consulting. There's many different organizations where I have good relationships over multiple years with people and who are attracted to what I'm going to offer.
I had another question. Can you go back over the aggregator revenue model?
1 minute.
Can you see this deck still?
We are not seeing the slides right now, so maybe you can describe it.
Sure. So the aggregator business model is it's dual-sided. So it's going to take a percentage of the tour costs from the hosts each time there's a transaction made. And what's standard in this industry is over 50%. It's extremely exploitative. But what I want to do is help the host to price their tours properly, because oftentimes they underprice it by up to 50% or even more. They very much don't understand business and they undervalue themselves. So I want to get them to charge more, get more money in their communities, and get more money back to the business through that 25%, which is super, super ethical, but super profitable. And then the average $10 transaction fee for the visitors who want to take a tour, that's an average. Done. It's an average.
All right. Thank you so much, Alexis. That's such an interesting business, and thank you for helping us pronounce it correctly, Waka. We will all remember that name, certainly. If you are interested in learning more about Waka or speaking with Alexis, you can visit the table in the lounge or look at their contact information on the website. Thank you very much, Alexis. So we will now be moving on to our next company, Monterey Bay Renewable Fuels. So we'll call them to the stage. Monterey Bay Renewable Fuels is a locally based and locally operating biorefinery facility. And they have got their first slide up there. All right. Thank you very much. You have 10 minutes to pitch.
Well, tremendous. Happy to meet everyone here today at Startup Investment and Community Capital Expo. Quick call out to Brad, Dan, Lynette, Mary Jo, our mentor, Jenny Kwan, for providing this opportunity for industry and business and capital to convene. I think in a local level, that's really exceptional. And I'm here on behalf of Monterey Bay Renewable Fuels. I'm Tom Harvey. And unlike some of the opportunities you'll be hearing about and seeing today, our company is a shovel-in-the-ground operation, providing localized solutions to environmental, economic, and social challenges that businesses and municipalities throughout California and everywhere we travel anymore face. MBRF was founded by my business partner, farmer, biofuel pioneer, regenerative ag tech visionary, and author of the Amazon.com best-selling book, Alcohol Can Be a Gas, David Bloom. David's a real asset and a unique treasure in our community, and like this group today, thinks about how we do things at the local level and then build them out to benefit regions and the planet. And I'm a co-founder of the company as well. I'm sort of a staunch environmental advocate, have been for decades. I'm our marketing and biz dev maven for the company. Next slide, please. Now, every now and then, even the environment gets a good break, and recognizing that methane gas produced in our landfills today are the major contributor to climate change. In 2016, the state of California, California Air Resources Board, legislated and mandated for better management of waste and fuel emissions. David and I were like, wow, could we have written something better that prospered our business and carried our mission forward for our company? Probably not, but California state law, AB 1383, and the CARB, California Air Resources Board, diesel emission fleet fuel reduction guidelines are effective as of January 2022. And those laws and mandates are being adopted by other states currently, including Oregon and Washington. And they're already changing how our regional landfills and food waste producers and food processors operate. Let's see how these mandates fit with our work at MBRF, and we'll travel to the next slide, please. So there are a lot of other companies, obviously, working on pieces of these mandates, but by leveraging Bloom Distillation and Bloom Industries technology and processes, MBRF, which is how I'll refer to Monterey Bay Renewable Fuels here, is able to provide closed-loop system solutions that turn food waste into high-value products. We don't deal with exclusively food waste, but that's a major importance to us. And given the legislation and mandates, it's critical that these things be addressed as we consider renewable energies and solutions for regeneration of our planet. Where do we get our inputs? Well, we work with loads of berry and fruit producers. You know, we're right here in the ag belt of Santa Cruz County. We're in Watsonville. We've worked with Driscoll's, farmers, and a number of producers. We get them from industrial food waste producers. The juice companies like Martinelli have problematic waste. They can't go to the landfill anymore. We get microbreweries like Fruition Brewery locally that provide us with waste products from their operations, and even local vineyards that have grape waste and things. We also are interested in partnering with the city of Watsonville. They have food waste issues now and permitting and fees and regulation pressures that they're going to have to meet in the coming year. And what do we do with those inputs? Well, we make primarily an alcohol end product, and everyone, usually when we mention alcohol, folks are like, yay. But this is alcohol with diverse benefits. We look at food-grade alcohol as distilled spirits, but we can also produce fuel-grade alcohol, like the ethanol you're using in your car. If you're burning unleaded gasoline right now, there's 15% ethanol in there. We also make pharmaceutical-grade alcohol, and that is critical for plant extractions, primarily in the THC and CBD industries locally here. We have CO2 as an offtake, and that food-grade CO2 is an excellent input for indoor grow operations. So it helps produce a third denser crop, a third more flowering, and it does it in a little less than a third of the time. So the growth cycle is advanced for these indoor producers just by giving the plants what they want to breathe, and by not using fracking CO2 gas, but using biologically produced food-grade CO2, the plants are healthy and so are the workers in that environment. We also can produce organic fertilizers and soil amendments, all in the process of making the alcohol. So the bottom line is we transform surplus waste to high-value impact benefit and profits. Next slide, please. Our solutions provide multiple local impact benefits, and it's important I emphasize local. We can serve a tri-county region here very successfully and create new local jobs, and they can't be exported. Guess what? They have to be done where the sun shines, where the crops grow, where the waste is, where the alcohol is made. These are local jobs, good for our communities. They reduce and eliminate waste processing costs for some of our thriving businesses here in the region. And they'll lower the operational costs for the landfill. We comply and help comply with State Law 1383 and eliminating those toxic methane emissions. I'm sorry, was that a minute warning? I thought we were flying here. Next slide, please.
3 minutes.
3-minute warning, Tom.
I appreciate that. Okay. That's almost better. On the next slide, our current lab scale biorefinery works. And what we're looking for, we had a very successful seed stage raise and angel raise. That gave us the working plant. Our Series A raise is looking for $2.6 million for market, go-to-market sales and development. And these numbers reflect if we are running one shift a day, 5 days a week, we can produce this volume of alcohol and byproduct outputs with a slight operating cost, $1.3 million, and an anticipated revenue of almost $5 million annually. Next slide, please. If we build out the plant as we want and move to a 500,000 gallon capacity, well, the numbers look far more attractive here. And of course, there's a higher operational cost, but the revenue potentials for this 500,000 gallons are enormous. Next slide, please. We're addressing the local and expanding indoor greenhouse supply chain need in the community. Next slide. As we mentioned, our operations are in place. We have delegations and businesses coming to see us from all over the state, all over the country, and the world. And we solve problems they address everywhere as well. So next slide. What we're looking for is equity participation, $2.6 million to help meet that local target, 25,000 on production. And we're looking for debt financing of $6 million to help us build the expanded plant operation. So next slide. It's due to Paul Stamets called David Bloom a national treasure, and David's the CEO, CTO, has all the experience to make this happen. We've been doing this, as I say, for the last several years and are looking for your support in helping us reach our financial objectives to benefit this community and benefit our planet. MBRF ultimately is localized planetary repair.
Thank you, Tom. And boy, do we need that. So that's a terrific presentation. Thanks for introducing us to your really interesting business. Let us get right to our investors. I'm sure they have a lot of questions. Got 5 minutes for investor questions.
Well, I thought everything was excellent. I noticed that you had hemp and cannabis. Were you going to be producing the CO2 to help the growing of the hemp and cannabis, or were you going to use them as providing the waste to create the H2, the stuff that you're producing at your lab?
Good question, Tina. We're At our bank's encouragement, we're arm's distance to the hemp and canna industries. We don't grow that here. But what we do is provide all the essential supplies that they need to safely grow and produce those products and not create a waste problem for themselves. So we can help. Unfortunately, hemp and cannabis are oil producing plants, so it's not as easy to convert them into alcohol as berries or sugar producing plants are, but we can help in the extraction, and David and our team of engineers have developed a tremendous process to take the leaves and the leftovers of the hemp and cannabis products and produce edible protein from those products. We can produce human grade, livestock feed grade protein. So we never look for one solution. We're looking to solve a totality of problems. So we want to see how we help grow the product, how we help harvest that, how we help process it, and how we get it back in the soil to help us grow more product. That's kind of our penchant.
A quick question about Oh, I thought someone else was talking.
We already had a question, but I'm happy to answer whatever.
Go ahead, Tina.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Tina.
I'm sorry. Man, this is so interesting. How do you have contracts with the places with a certain amount of gallons that you would be producing and selling them the product?
We're very fortunate, Tina, to have letters of intent from the city of Watsonville, from the Pajaro Valley Unified School District. These were looking at using waste from the city to create fuel products. We're working on a project right now with the city of Watsonville, which is converting diesel generators, backup power generators, to run on alcohol fuel that is locally produced from the waste products of our communities here, food waste products from our communities. So we do have commitments. We need to increase our capacity. We want to add more staff and be able to meet broader commitments with the community and with private business. There's a great demand for the organic fertilizer we can produce. I've got a bottle of that right here, actually, sitting on my desk. And of course, we were in the COVID era. We came out with our own alcohol for an all organic sanitizer product. So we've proven ability to produce. We're just looking to commercialize and get the market money to get out there and get these products available and solutions in place.
So you'll be able to sell the other products along with the fuel as well.
That's right, and they're offtakes. It's the alcohol is what we make at the end of the day, but 2 factoids I'll leave you with. For every gallon of alcohol we make, we can produce 6 pounds of CO2, food grade CO2, which would go in beer or sparkling cider or into the greenhouse and grow more plants. And for each gallon of alcohol we produce, we can produce 8 gallons of organic fertilizer. So there's a lot of benefit that comes from our waste channel properly managed.
That's terrific. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead,
Please.
John.
Your fertilizer, what's its balance?
Currently, we're at a very normal NPK level for it, but what we're trying to do, Charles, is customize that. Each of the crops that our growers produce require different levels of calcium. With the hemp and canna guys, they like to have azomite and kelp included in there for proteins and other nutrients. So we have a very standard formula grade, but what we want to do is customize that to our clients' needs. And that requires sometimes adding a little additional calcium, which is easy to formulate and mix in, or bring in a couple of the other secret sauce ingredients that Dave supplied.
Okay. Tom, did you want to finish up that sentence?
Our I was just saying, Dave's designed all of the soil science here, and the best thing is you can come and see it. Like I say, we're shoveling the ground. Whatever I'm talking about, I can show you in our process at our facility. So we just need and invite participation to help us get this into the community and working at the scale it can really make a difference.
Thank you, Tom. And what a fabulous business, Monterey Bay Renewable Fuels. Great to end on that invitation to your site. And thank you for helping us fix the planet. Very, very important. So you can find out more.
Brad, everybody. Thank you.
Find out more. Thank you, Tom. You can find out more about them in the information on the website and visit Tom on the table in the lounge. Thank you so much, Tom. So we're moving on to our last company, Career Girls. And so we're going to invite Linda Calhoun to the stage to introduce Career Girls, a comprehensive video-based career exploration and readiness tool for girls. Fabulous. So Linda, thank you very much. Excited for you to be here. And we'll wait for you to get your first slide up before we start your timer. But I see Tina is excited about this one as I am. Look at her there. See her?
Great.
We can. We can see you now. Okay, the timing starts. You've got the stage, Linda.
All right. Thank you for having me here today. I love thinking about the possibilities that can be generated from new partnerships and ideas. Just a little bit about myself. I'm an unlikely person to even be here today. You know, my parents were the first in their families to graduate from high school, and I was the first in my family to graduate from college. I truly believe that talent is distributed equally, but opportunity is not. And like all of you, I'm a believer in the power of the mind and in the power of investing. And in fact, it's the power of investing which is the only reason I'm in a position to follow my true passion, which is helping the next generation of girls have an easier road than I had, to help them build a vision for themselves that includes both economic empowerment and a moral obligation to give back to others as they achieve their own success. But don't worry, I'm still an active investor in the most traditional sense of the word, but the investing that gives me the most satisfaction, the biggest reward, is the work I do with Career Girls, the 501c3 nonprofit I founded. And so, as you can see, the mission of Career Girls is to help girls around the world learn how to create careers and lives of their dreams through access to the stories of diverse and accomplished women role models. Since our website went live in January 2011, we've clocked over 6 million views on YouTube. In our video shoots, we've recorded the collective wisdom of 800 diverse and accomplished women role models, resulting in 15,000 freely accessible videos of women sharing their first-person narratives about their career, educational, and life journeys on the website and YouTube channel. That's not my phone. I don't know if someone wants to answer that.
Sorry about that. Yeah, keep going.
And we amplify these voices to 10 million site users with a global reach of 232 countries and territories. So why the focus on role models? In a study done by Microsoft, as this slide illustrates, there's significant research that shows the impact of women role models on girls' education, especially in STEM subjects. And so our goal is to help girls stay on track academically in math and science subjects so that they have the full array of career options to choose from when that time comes. You know, we know that seeing women working in these professions helps girls to understand the value of these academic subjects and their relationship to creating a life of their choosing. So the careergirls.org website, as you see here on the slide, 800 women role models, 15,000 inspirational, informative videos, 150 and counting career exploration pages, the How to Do It piece, personality career quiz, 100 plus college majors with sample courses on how you'd earn a bachelor's degree, career-based empowerment lessons, soft skill empowerment lessons, and free specialized curriculum and toolkits for educators, mentors, parents, and group leaders. So there are many ways that an organization or an individual investor can support our work. For example, for $30,000, you could fund a role model video shoot. It's an amazing experience. We set up for a week with our crew and we filmed 25 to 30 women role models, one right after the other. Each role model then has their own page and their own set of videos on the website. And as a sponsor, you can work with us to choose the focus for the shoot. It could be a certain industry, geographic community, or themes such as financial literacy, leadership, the environment, or any topic that you want girls to know about. So how do we distribute the role model video content? The content lives on our website. We post it to YouTube, Vimeo, and social media, and use this content as the basis for lesson plans, discussion guides, group activities, virtual and in-person programming, and events. So here is where you can use your investment with us to be a power broker in your community. A typical virtual camp costs $20,000 to produce, and you'll see for yourself in a short video that I will play, these inspirational camps feature industry-leading women role models who share their expertise and facilitate breakout session activities. We create programming alongside diverse role models to provide unparalleled content that truly reflects what girls need to know from women who look like them. There are no costs for girls to attend, and they're designed for girls ages 10 to 15. Girl campers can come from across the globe, across the country, or selected from your local community. The benefits are to everyone. For girls, they see women role models in action. For role models, it's an opportunity to mentor in real time. And for funders, it generates goodwill in the community and the organizations you work with and grows future employees. So as promised, I'm going to play video highlights from our most recent business model and IPO virtual camp.
Career Girls is connecting role models and girls around the world through our virtual camps. These inspirational camps feature industry-leading role models and are offered free of charge to girls of all backgrounds.
Welcome to the first ever Career Girls Business and IPO Bootcamp.
We're going to create some business ideas together by brainstorming. It's a process called ideation because everything starts with an idea.
What is it that you want your company to do? What is the impact that you want to make with your company? We really want to focus on what is the need that we're addressing. I love that you said makeup for people with skin problems.
Our baking business offers like healthy foods, which unlike other bakeries, they make sugary foods that isn't as healthy.
How can going public help your business?
I think going public would help our business because we could get more money, which would allow us to make more robots for our restaurants.
I would describe the girls in this camp as motivated, intelligent, highly ambitious, creative, and really empathetic.
So much of the impact of these experiences that Career Girls creates comes from the girls seeing and hearing from examples of female leaders right in front of them, whether that's in person or on Zoom.
If you haven't seen someone doing something that's interesting to you or something that you didn't think was possible, if you haven't seen it, then you're going to continue to believe that that's not an option for you.
The behaviors that you form today, that cadence, that discipline will be what you carry on to your tomorrows. So I would definitely say you start right now.
Taking control of your financial future. So it's important to start thinking about that even today, no matter what age you are. Start thinking about how to set yourself up for a long, healthy financial future.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
you. I learned so much. Bye.
With your support, we can engage more girls in our virtual camps and close the imagination gap for girls around the world.
So we've built a strong base and have much to be proud of, but it pains me to know we also have missed opportunities, high impact projects that require additional funding to implement. With $200,000 in additional funding, we could hire a community outreach director, we could fund community-based career girls clubs pilot programs, we could fund community-based Career Girls Days events, and we would expand our community partnerships with local libraries and universities. I'd like to read this comment from one of the girls in our virtual AI camp. Quote, I loved seeing so many role models who look just like me thrive in careers where they are just as smart and persistent and are just as acclaimed and praised as the men beside them, unquote. I knew this camp was a success because when I was there observing the engagement, but when I read this quote, it really hit home that we're accomplishing exactly what we set out to do.
Time.
Thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to answering any questions, and a special thanks to my mentor, Carrie Nitkin.
Linda, thank you for being here. And if you're, just look at Tina. Tina is how I feel right now. What an exciting thing, you know, as I work at CSUMB, and this is I'm thrilled. So we've got Tina here I know wants to talk to you. Hillary and Charlie, we've got 5 minutes. Go, Tina, go.
Okay. I love that it's already a 501c3. Do you write grants? Have you received any grant funding outside of the sponsorship?
Yes, we have. We have gotten funding from the Rankin Foundation. We have gotten funding from the Kapoor Foundation. In terms of corporate support, we've been funded by Toyota Research Institute, Dolby Laboratories for some of our virtual camps. We've had partnerships with MIT's Inclusive Innovation Challenge with funding and also with sourcing role models. And then we also get all kinds of in-kind support for our video shoots. We've worked with groups like Women in Bio. We've worked with organizations where there is an alignment of purpose. Girls Inc. of Metro Denver, Girls Inc. in Atlanta. We're collaborating on different projects with Black Girls Code. So we get a wide variety of funding, individuals, donor advised funds. I hope that answers your question, Tina.
It does. There's so many out there. For $200,000, I would imagine that you could get a grant for that. Get one written.
We're out there. We're asking. I'm participating in events like today because really the focus has been on building this considerable knowledge base. There is no other organization that provides the diversity of women that we've interviewed. And not only do they, by showing up and talking about what they do, but we also provide that how to do it, that how to be at peace. That's absolutely critical, especially as a first generation college student. Everyone in my family wanted me to go to college, but they just didn't have a resource that could really walk them through what the requirements are to make sure I go to college and stay in college, graduate.
I'm not going to hog up all the time, so if you guys have any more questions, but I have one thing. Have you guys reached out to Comerica? I know they're doing a lot of funding in that area.
No, we haven't, but I will after today, that's for sure.
I will show you just really quickly if you guys can see my screen. I don't know if you can.
It's small, but
Are you able to see
I'll
it?
take a
We can see
screenshot.
it, but it's small.
I'll take a screenshot.
Yeah, screenshot. They're giving money for education for low and moderate income individuals, specifically business and STEM related education, economic self-sufficiency and job creation training, readiness and retention. And they give sponsorships and grants. And I know I'm a recipient of STEM funding, so I know there, and I can possibly introduce you to.
Oh, that would be phenomenal. Introduction would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you, Tina. I know what I'm going to be doing this weekend.
Thanks, Tina. Any other questions?
Yes.
Hi, Charles.
My question is, how do you help match skills and expectations to the market out there?
Oh, I rely on the network of women experts that we reach out to. I think, and thank you for asking that question, Charles. I think what's important to understand is Career Girls is a platform for experts, for women who are actually in these professions doing the work now. So any information that we get in terms of role model video, it's the first person narrative, the experience of what it's like to be the head of YouTube engineering. What is it like to be a venture capitalist? What is it like? It's work that they're doing right now. And then we pair those individual narratives with information that comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You know, that's third-party information that's available, but we want to make it easily accessible for a girl and her stakeholders, those educators, those school counselors, those teachers, those mentors, those group leaders. We want to make it one-stop shopping for empowerment. So the expertise comes from the experts, not me.
Thank you.
Time?
Well, perfect timing then. Linda, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for helping our girls. I think there's a lot of excitement following up with you. You can learn more about Linda, where you can meet with Linda and learn more about Career Girls at their table in the lounge, and there's more information on our website in the expo hall. So please check that out. I want to thank our great panel. Thank you, Linda. Our great investor panel for their time and the great questions and comments. And, you know, we can all learn a lot from these investors and the types of questions that they ask. So we are now going to have a 10-minute break. That's the end of this session, I'm sorry to say. So thanks to Tina, Hillary, and Charlie. Really appreciate you being here. Enjoy a 10-minute break. Is that right, Brad? You still having a 10-minute break?
It's probably going to be a little shorter than that.
That's
We're going to move it quickly.
Might
We need to catch up a little here.
Might catch up, so maybe closer to 5 or 2.
And next up is the Women in Venture Finance panel. Don't miss that panel. It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. Don't miss that. What a great follow-up from Career Girls. So we'll see you there in 5 or less.
Thank you much.
Thanks, everybody.